Washington NFL team owner Dan Snyder is catching bullets following last week. So let's back it up here. On Thursday, FedEx became the first major corporate backer of the Redskins to call on the team to change its name. Now, they did it with like a one-sentence statement that read, "We have communicated to the team in Washington our request that they change the team name." And then they were swiftly followed by Nike, Pepsi, Bank of America in 24 hours. Okay? That should matter. And it does. If you went to the Nike website store, you would not find Washington gear. They've taken it off the shelf. And then, news from yesterday, 3 minority owners in Washington have decided that they no longer want to be a part of the NFL franchise. They include Robert Rothman, Dwight Scharr, and Fred Smith. Okay, they all hired an investment banking firm to try to sell their stake in Dan Snyder's football team. Rothman is chairman and CEO of Black Diamond Capital, which is an investment company. Scharr is the chairman of NVR Inc., which is the nation's 5th largest home builder. And of course, Fred Smith is the CEO, president of FedEx. And in 1999, FedEx signed a 27-year deal to have the naming rights on FedEx Field, right, for $205 million. Sounds pretty much all right. Now, Washington put out a statement saying, look, we're going to do more research into our name and we're going to come up with something. Most folks expect a name change by August. Okay? I would not be shocked to find out that there is one before then. Because this team name, right, which is on one of our high schools here, one of our public high schools here, is offensive to a number of people. And the way that I put it is this way. I can't say the F word on terrestrial radio because community standards say, hey, look, people find that offensive. We agree that the N word is offensive. We agree that there are words in the Bible that people still find offensive. So we try not to use them. Okay? We certainly don't put them on the front of a shirt, which gets back to the whole OAN thing. But we agree that if a number of people find these things offensive, then they are. That's called language. That's how we got here. We got here by changing the language and changing the way that we speak to each other because some words are derogatory and harken back to a historical time that we have put behind us because we are an evolved society. But if I said to you, grant them removed, and grant that this your noise has chid down all the majesty of England, you would be like, what the hell is he talking about? To which you say, yo, man, hey, look, bring everybody to England. We understand immigration has made us great. All right? We want y'all to come to the shores. Y'all want jobs. Y'all going to boost the economy. We're going to be one of the greatest nations on earth. Bring them all in. You understand that? It's the same thing. It's what Sir Thomas More said. We just don't use that language anymore. And at one point, it was cool to call everybody Indians. It ain't anymore. We distinguish. We use, I don't even use Native American. I try to find out. Well, I'm getting there. You said not to mention, but I'm going to mention it. But I want to walk this out. A lot of this is understanding. A lot of this is willing to invest in people. Like, this is a Mike Gundy issue as much as it's a Dan Snyder issue. There are 2 things that human beings want in life. 2 things. One is to belong to something. Belong to your workforce, belong to your alma mater, belong to your football team, belong to your family. That's why we use the word family. That's why we hammer it home. The second one is to be understood. To be investigated, to be worthy of investigation, for somebody to take time to figure out who you are, to really know you. That's what else this word glosses over the top of. It's the same thing with the N-word. The reason that the N-word is so offensive to many is because that's for all of us. No. Black folks are not a monolith. Just as Cherokee are not a monolith. Creek are not a monolith. Choctaw are not a monolith. They are separate nations and people. And it is incumbent upon you to know who you're talking to and what you're talking about. It's called knowledge. That's called engaging. Now, as it pertains to the state of Oklahoma and the number of high schools that employ mascots that are offensive, hey, Mayberry, do you know what the mascot is in southeastern Oklahoma State? But do you know what it is? But you also know what it used to be. Okay, so what did it used to be? And why did they change that name? Yahtzee! And I get that there's some people that don't like change. And like, where does it end? It ends where it ends. It ends where it ends. If we have to keep going, then we must keep going. It's a savage storm, right? It's a storm. We understand that. I don't find it offensive that Clinton calls themselves the Red Tornadoes. You know, it's okay. It's fine. I'm not offended that there's never been a hurricane in the entire state of Oklahoma, and yet my alma mater insists on calling itself a golden hurricane. Never mind that we don't even say the word golden showers without a giggle now. I got to deal with that everywhere I go. Okay? We can't be something like a tiger. We got to be a friggin' hurricane. No, but it's for the people to decide, right? Like, we don't find chieftains, Sapulpa, as offensive, right? Because it's not a racial slur. It's not. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs don't get their name from a Native American tribe or nation. No, it matters. It matters. It does matter because we're talking about the origins, right? It's the reason that the Cleveland Indians are investigating whether or not they're going to change theirs. I say go back to the Spiders. Those are great jerseys, and that's a great mascot. Yes! You know, like, I'm telling you, man, like, some of the mascots are nicknames. If they're not fun, then what are we doing here? Everybody's on the level now. We understand that not every mascot is going to be intimidating, and there's nothing intimidating about your mascot. What's intimidating about you is your ability to play. And more than that, like, I'm too creative to think that I can't come up with something that's better. I'll give you another example. When folks don't know what the new language is, what the new slang is, what's in, what do? They go to Urban Dictionary. If I say on fleek to you, you understand. That's a good thing. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wiping down with lotion this morning. Beard stays on fleek. What we are dealing with, again, is are you willing to humble yourself to go investigate why this is so offensive to so many? Are you willing to investigate where this comes from? Or are you going to do the old buy thing and do, hey, look, I don't need to know. I don't want to know. It's all bad. Keep it the way it was. Change it after I die. No, you will be here for this, or you will be left behind. No, that's the worst way. That's the worst argument ever of all time. Hey, separate but equal was the thing that we did for 60 years, so let's keep it. Hey, we had slaves for 400 years. Why do we need to change this? And language matters, right? Language matters. Education matters. Because we didn't want to pay taxes. No, I mean, and more than that, right? To claim that there are so many teams that are either one, on the level, or two, just not really thinking about this, and hey, look, we thought it was a good thing. Well, it's not, so change it. As soon as you find out you're wrong, what do you need to do? Apologize. If you want to, give a reason as to why you didn't know, or what you are planning to do. And then go do it. You know, like, at one point or another, you're going to have inflection, right? You're going to have uprising. You're going to have upheaval. But after that, everybody's just going to go back to doing what they're doing. Because the imagery isn't as important as the people that put it out. But the imagery is important because people are wearing it when they put it out. You know, like I get a lot out of Sooners, right? Because they're celebrating people that broke the law. We're celebrating outlaws, but we put outlaws on jerseys. You know, but there's nothing offensive to an entire group of people about being an outlaw. That covers everybody. Everybody. This slur on the front of Washington's NFL jerseys does not. Covers a very specific group of people. And there are enough people who are allied with that group of people and live in those communities that say, hey, nah, that's not who we are. Don't like it. Don't want it. Please don't use it anymore. And more than that, it's all moot, right? This conversation that we've had, which is an exercise in philosophical discussion, comes down to money. And the money in Washington has decided to go elsewhere. That's the other owners. Forget the other owners. They'll find people to buy stake in the NFL. It's like saying that you're going to buy somebody who wants to invest in the U.S. Treasury. Sure, you're going to find that. That's going to be fine. This is about legacy for those men. What I'm finding out now more than ever, that there are rich old white guys that don't want to be thought of in the way that we're thinking of other rich old white guys. We had a Minnesota Twins owner see his statue removed posthumously. All right? They're understanding now, oh man, maybe I need to take stock of what it is that I've been doing and how this could be perceived, because I want to live forever. Otherwise, what's the use of being rich? You want to live forever. That's the point. You want to be remembered for what you had done. This is the reason why men put their names on buildings. This is the reason why we give people statues, why we take statues down now. And they're seeing that. But when you have great, big advertisers and great, big investors into the machine that is you, say, nah, dog, I can't. I'm going to be down with my people. I'm going to be down with my family. They all say this is bad. I'm going to choose to believe them even if I don't particularly understand right away. Cool. Trust the people around you. Trust them to, one, say, hey, it's going to hurt a little bit in the beginning. But later on, when we go looking around, we're going to remember Roger Goodell said, hey, look, our league would be nothing without its black players. We are having a face on our position on kneeling. We need to take into account how much of our labor and much of our consumers feel about this. And Roger Goodell is now up against, yeah, I was the guy that was handing out all those fines, wasn't I? I was the guy that was shouting down black folks who were protesting police brutality. Doggone, I was the guy getting in the way of social change for good. How can I change that? How can I correct that? That's what matters. Because Dan Snyder's team is worth $3 billion. It's like the 7th richest team in the NFL, according to Forbes. What matters to him right now, or should matter to him right now, is what are we going to say after you're gone? How are you going to feel about this? How do you feel about what you left behind? It's a Mike Gundy question as much as anything else. How are you going to feel about your legacy? How do you think we're going to feel about your legacy? Who's going to carry it on? Who's going to talk about you in a great way? These things matter. And if you have the power to change them while you are still with us, you should. Especially if all you're going to lose is money. Now, this is America. All you do is print money if you play football. That's why so many people care.